Empires used to expand with one sound: boots, march, siege, fire, tax. It was loud, brutal, and obvious. Then someone discovered a quieter weapon, a weapon that could bend kingdoms without capturing a single city: debt. Picture a ruler staring at a war map, knowing his army will stop moving in weeks. Not because enemies are stronger, because his treasury is empty. He has two options: raise taxes and risk revolt, or borrow and pretend the cost doesn't exist yet. Most rulers choose the second. That's how the debt empire begins. It doesn't start in a palace. It starts in a trading city: busy docks, ledgers, ships, and hard-eyed merchants. A place where people understand something kings often don't. Power isn't only soldiers. Power is cash flow. Across Europe in the mid-1600s, kingdoms were bleeding money. Border conflicts dragged on. Pirates cut trade routes. Harvests failed. Court spending never stopped. And when money ran out, kings borrowed. At first, borrowing looked simple. A banker provides funds. A king promises repayment. A seal is pressed. The war continues. But lending to kings is dangerous. Kings default. Kings change laws. Kings forget promises. So lenders demanded something new, a system that could survive a king's mood. That's when the city created its real invention: a public market for government debt. Not a secret loan in a private room, bonds, public promises backed by future taxes. And anyone could buy them. Merchants, guilds, foreigners, even ordinary savers. More important, those bonds could be sold again. So the king wasn't borrowing from one rich person anymore. He was borrowing from the crowd. And once debt becomes tradable, it becomes liquid. Liquid money moves faster than armies. That's when the city realized its new power. It didn't need to conquer land. It could finance the people who did. Once the city could finance kings, it could shape history without marching. It could fund one side in a conflict, then later fund the other. Because war creates demand for loans. Loans create interest. And interest creates an empire with no borders. Kings began to learn a terrifying truth: you can win battles and still lose power. Because if your army is paid with borrowed money, your victory is partly owned. This is how lending replaced war. It turned politics into payments. A king wants to start a new war? Lenders raise rates. A kingdom wants to expand? Lenders demand new taxes to secure repayment. A ruler threatens to default? Credit freezes. And when credit freezes, everything slows. Ships stop sailing. Supplies stop moving. Soldiers stop getting paid. Not by an invading army, by a cash drought. And a cash drought can break a nation faster than a siege. Then came the proof. A powerful kingdom didn't lose because its army was destroyed. It lost because it couldn't refinance its debt. Interest payments grew too heavy. Confidence cracked. Its currency weakened. Merchants fled. The tax base shrank. The collapse didn't arrive with flames. It arrived with paperwork. Meanwhile, the lending city grew richer, safer, more influential, because everyone needed it, not for weapons, for credit. This became the new order. The strongest force wasn't the army, it was the interest rate. And here's the twist. The debt empire didn't need to be cruel. It only needed to be essential. Because once a country depends on loans to function, the lender doesn't have to invade. The borrower adjusts itself, raises taxes, cuts spending, changes laws, sells assets, all to keep credit alive. War takes land. Debt takes choices. And taking choices can be more powerful than taking land. That's why the debt empire is one of history's most dangerous inventions. Control without conquest. Signatures instead of swords.